Hey folks, Josh here back for another weekly business vlog. How the heck are you doing? We're back in action. We're back into the groove, right? I posted a podcast last week, a vlog last week. I explained a little bit of why I was off for about a month on the vlog side. Obviously, the Substack has continued, and now we're getting back into a groove. We're back in action. It's summer, right? Now it's July, early July. I don't know if you're in Canada like I am, or wherever you're from, listening or based. What's the summer like for you? Like here in Canada, at least, I notice that no matter what business I'm building, no matter what industry I'm in, no matter what, how the year is going, things definitely noticeably quiet down in Canada in the summer. Mainly probably because for like 6 months of the year, the weather sucks here. So when it actually is really nice, like Canada gets really nice in the summer. I guess it depends on which part of the country you're at. But I've grown up in Ontario, right? So either Ottawa, now I'm based in Toronto, and the summers are really nice in Canada. If you've never been to Canada, definitely go in the summer. Fall and spring can be nice too. Anyways, the reason why I say all this and I'm mumbling and jumbling is because usually the summers quiet down. That's when people take time off, they take vacation, their kids are off school, blah, 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 right? All that fun stuff. Now, I was never one to take too many vacations in a year. As you know, I took a vacation about 3 weeks ago. And so I got no more vacations for the summer. I'm here to stay. I got a business to build, you know what I mean? But the unfortunate reality for us business builders, especially if you're doing like marketing and sales for your business, is that things are going to be a little bit slower in Canada, right? From my experience. You're going to send out 10 emails, and 3 of them you're going to get vacation autoresponders, right? Oh, I'm away. I'm back in August. Oh, I'm away for 2 weeks. Bloobity, bloobity, right? And that's fine. You just kind of have to adjust accordingly from what I've found. Like my way to adjust to things quieting down in the summer is number one, shift expectations, right? So just don't be annoyed by it. Don't be upset by it. That's just life, right? That's just certain things work a certain way, and sometimes there's nothing we can really do about it, right? So number one, shift expectations. Don't be upset. Don't be surprised. Don't be frustrated if you start getting a few more autoresponders, if you're not getting as many, decisions being made or conversions or whatever it may be, right? Whatever your key metrics may be, number one. Number two is shift some of your focus. So if you are the person in your business, or maybe you're the only person in your business, and you're really focused on sales and marketing, maybe take some of the time you would be spending on that and shift it to something else, like product or R&D or whatever, right? Depends on what your business is, the industry you're in, blah, 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 right? But part of that reasoning is don't bang your head against a brick wall, right? Because the reality is you're going to get fewer responses, you're going to get fewer conversions, and that's okay. So maybe it's not as worth it to spend as much time on some of those sales and marketing activities right now. And it is a good time to spend, your energy, resources, money, budget, whatever it might be, on some other areas that might help in the long run, right? Have there been some important things that you've just been pushing down your list? Have there been some new product features or service additions that you've wanted to add? Are there some partnership discussions with people that aren't going to be on vacation that maybe you want to prioritize a little bit more, right? Just a few examples, right? Obviously, cater this to your business, your industry, what you're working on, et cetera, et cetera. And then number 3 that I would usually recommend too, especially if you've been grinding it out, like in our case, we had a really busy first 5 or 6 months, maybe just take the foot off the pedal a little bit. Right? I never recommend, like, don't half-ass anything, right? I'm not saying that. But if you've been putting in like 10, 12, 14-hour days for the first 6 months of the year, maybe take the foot off the gas a little bit. You know what I mean? Stick to 8, 9-hour days, spend a little bit more time outside, maybe spend a little bit more time with friends and family. Maybe, I don't know, exercise more. I don't know, whatever you got to do, right? I've talked about this a little bit before in terms of like taking vacations, which is you can be strategic. Like one of the tough parts of being an entrepreneur or solopreneur especially is determining how to spend your time, right? Should you work? Should you not work? Should you take a vacation? Should you not take a vacation? But one of the benefits is obviously you get the flexibility, right? So for example, when things are busy, when everyone's working, grind it out, put in the extra hours, put in the extra time, try to take advantage of what's happening in the industry and the themes and all that kind of stuff. And when things quiet down, maybe take a little bit of time, a little bit more time for yourself to recharge, to take care of your body, to take care of your mind, to maintain important relationships with your friends and family, right? Again, I'm not just saying like clock out for the summer, right? But I'm saying, hey, if there's not much else to do, don't bang your head against a brick wall and drive yourself nuts, right? So anyways, those are the kind of 3 things that I've at least thought about, and I implement most of them. So number 1 is, I don't remember what number 1 was. Number 2 was, number 1 was adjust your expectations, right? It's summer. Again, if you're in a country like I am in Canada where things slow down in the summer, number 1, adjust your expectations accordingly. Number 2, maybe spend more time on non-sales and marketing stuff. And number 3 is maybe take a little bit of extra time for yourself. Wellness, exercise, whatever, whatever. And this way you have a good balance. Because again, like what's going to happen here most likely is end of August into September, it's going to start getting really busy again. So I'd rather not be burnt out in September, right? I'd rather keep a good balance through July and the first part of August. Obviously keep pushing. We always want to be growing month over month. I'm not saying don't, remove all growth goals. Our plan is to continue to add new clients, more revenue month over month, 100%. But the best thing for our business is that I'm in pretty good shape, well rested, not burnt out when the busy season picks back up, right? So anyways, just food for thought. If you have any thoughts, comments on any of that, always open to hear it. It was a pretty good week. We had Canada Day here on Monday. So July 1st was Canada Day. And then obviously, so happy Canada Day for my Canadian fans. Happy, what is it? Independence Day, July 4th in the US, whatever the heck my US colleagues equivalent is. They had it on July 4th. And for anybody else, I don't know when your days are. So happy whatever your day is, whenever it is. Apologies for the total lack of global day celebration dates. So yeah, it was a short week on our end. Still relatively busy, which is good. Definitely want to keep busy. We have a lot on our plate, especially on the product side. We're really focused on adding new AI features, testing, building. So I actually think, and this goes along with the second point I was saying, is we're actually really doubling and tripling down on product for the next month or two, which is really exciting. Number 1, I find building and testing product really fun. Obviously, I'm not writing code, but I'm working with the developers and especially doing a lot of the testing. So I find that really enjoyable. Even though we had Monday off, so it was a short week, next week looks like things are kind of going back to normal. So anyways, it's been pretty good on my end. In the books department, I am almost done. I mentioned this in my vlog last week. I'm still reading Never Split the Difference by, is it Chris Voss? Something Voss. I think Chris Voss. Really good book about negotiating. So if you do a lot of negotiating, if you're not good at negotiating and you want to get a little bit better, or you're just like me and there's negotiating elements to your business, which, let's be real, there is for everybody, right? Whether you're a business owner, an employee, a parent, a sibling, we're all negotiating every day of our lives, right? So I highly recommend it. I've got like 40 pages left, I think, so I should be done within the next couple days. I'll probably finish it this weekend, and I will share my full thoughts when I'm done. Really good book. So, but yeah, I'm not going to ruin I'm not going to spoil my full book review, which you'll probably get next weekend. And then I don't know what I'm reading next. Usually when I'm reading or getting to the tail end of a book, I have an idea for what I'm going to read next. I don't know yet. So I can't tell you what I'm going to read next, but next week I'll give you my full book review and I'll let you know what I've started reading. As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, I'll tilt my camera here. Plenty to pick from. I'm actually in a phase of rereading, right? So I've gotten to the point where I just own, if you're listening on the podcast, listening to this podcast, you're missing out. Definitely check us out on YouTube, because I do actually record this as a video. So you can check out my face talking to you as you listen to me. But anyways, no, if you listen on the podcast and you're just happy with the audio, appreciate your support. But if you are watching on YouTube, yeah, as you can see, I have so many friggin' business books that I'm now in a phase of I'm not going to buy any more books for like, I don't know, 6 months. I want to do some rereads. If you've been following me for a while, you know I quite often do rereads. I think it's super important. The reality for me is if I read a book, after about 3 months, I've forgotten 70% of that book. So what I actually think is a better practice is to be constantly rereading, right? Especially once you've hit that, like if you've read like 30 to 50 plus books, you're probably at a point where every second or third book, you should just reread one of the books you've already read. Because number one, you've probably forgot half the books. Number two is it helps you internalize that information, right? So if it's a really good book, you should go back and revisit it every 1 to 2 years, because you're going to want to reinforce the really interesting stuff that you've learned and or reread the parts that you forgot. And then the other part too that I think is really interesting is that I've taken away different lessons at different points in my life, right? So for example, I've read Shoe Dog, the Phil Knight memoir, probably 4 times by now, but like 2-ish years apart, maybe 1 to 2 years apart. I don't remember what year it came out. And so when I read Shoe Dog when I was 28 years old, I'm taking away very different lessons and kind of interpreting things a little bit different from now I'm 33 years old, right? Geez, I'm getting old. But just as an example, right? So, and the last point too, geez, I'm really ranting about books here today. But the last thing I want to say too is, once you've read so many books, like there's only so many really good books, right? There's a lot of books obviously out there, but I primarily read books about personal development, books about business, biographies and autobiographies and memoirs of CEOs. There's only so many of those. And there's like some of them that are great. They're like objectively really good books. And I think it's important that I should go back and reread those ones, you know, like I said, every 1 to 3 years. And as you can see, like I've read, I don't know how many books, hundreds, probably in the thousands of books by now, because I've been reading my whole life. So I have so many, as you can see behind me, so many books, and a good chunk of them are like really good books. So I should be revisiting them, all that fun stuff. Anyways, I'm going to stop ranting about how you should be reading books, but maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, let me know. And, you know, I'm always passionate, as you can tell, pretty passionate and interested to talk about books and reading and all that stuff. So anyways, I'm going to wrap it up there before this rambling continues. Hopefully you found it interesting. Hope your week is going well. Hope you have a great one ahead. If you are listening on the podcast and you haven't yet, if you could leave a review or a comment, really help support the vlog. If you're watching on YouTube, then if you could give me a little thumbs up-y action or comment, again, just really helps kind of spread the awareness and the channel and the views and all that good stuff. If you're not already, make sure you're following on the Substack. Link will be in the description, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on the podcast, because once to twice a week, I'm actually sending out a Substack newsletter, which usually, you know, more of my interesting ramblings on business and life and stuff like that. And it also sends out an update when a new podcast/vlog episode does go live. So highly recommend being subscribed on the Substack, biasly, of course. And that's it. So thanks again. Hope you're having a good day. Hope the rest of your week is good, or the start of your week is good. And I will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye.